Attention visitors of the left floor. This audio presentation of 3 Sheets to the Mouse may contain adult subject matter and is recommended for an audience that is mature, even if the hosts are not. I am now obligated to thank you for your attendance and encouraged to instruct you to enjoy your time on the MILF. Who wrote that? Wazowski?
It sounds sorted, but you'll be rewarded when at last I am given my dues. And injustice deliciously squared, be prepared.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 240 of 3 Sheets to the Mouse. We're the podcast that likes to focus on all things Disney, from parks to movies to rides. We'll cover everything Disney has to offer, including their drinks. My name is Mikey, and I've got two of a kind this evening joining me. I've got Maria.
Hi.
I've got Pop himself, Tim.
Hey.
And of course me, because I already said my name. That's how introductions work. Who your name is, send us a message at number 3sheetsthemouse@gmail.com. We don't get emails that aren't from Nigerian princes. Want to hear from you.
Did they ever send out $23 back?
It didn't go to our PayPal. I think it went to a host's checking account, so don't care.
It's all right with us.
Oh, but turned in at $23,000, I'll be perfectly honest. But that's what you get in Cameroon. That's the exchange rate in Cameroon, I believe, right now. $1 is equal to 23,000 Cameroonians.
That you could probably buy a kumquat.
I don't do that quiet.
You. That was bad.
Insert cricket noise.
Yeah.
Even a bad one's still a good one, as far as I'm concerned, Maria.
What, a joke or a kumquat?
Yeah. I mean, even, yep.
Yeah.
Can't make that joke, Mike, because
nope.
that'll offend somebody somewhere. It seems like no one's offended unless there's semen involved these days.
Ooh.
But I digress. Speaking of semen involved, Maria, what are you drinking?
Wait, why? Why? Never mind. I'm not even. I am drinking a beer. I'm drinking a tall boy.
A little salty?
It is not salty, thank you very much. It is.
Oh, he's been eating pineapples.
The name of it is Alien Dog.
Huh.
So
well,
I guess
he's no.
I guess I'm drinking Stitch.
Stitch is not a dog.
Well,
Stitch is not a dog.
I agree, but he's an alien. He's not a dog. And
why is he not all the Disney dog merchandise?
Because they don't know what else to do with him.
They even say he's not a dog.
That's right, they did. It is 8.2%.
Well, then they don't need to put him on the dog merchandise then and confuse people.
Because clearly the people in charge, the ASPCA in Hawaii, don't know how to catalog animals. They just lump him in with everything else, which is speciest.
It's speciest.
Okay.
Oh, it's got fur and legs. Must be a dog. Put him in a cage.
I don't think that's how they categorize dogs. There's a lot of things that have fur and legs.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one's picking my wife up off the...
Don't you dare. Oh, you are so lucky she doesn't listen. This will be the one episode that she does listen to.
Only because someone tells her to.
That's right. I'm absolutely going to message her.
5 minutes in.
Yep.
You just need to... 3 minutes, 50 seconds.
You'll know. You listen until you know. So Alien Dog is a double IPA. It is 8.2%, and I have another one on deck. So that'll put me at 16.4 by the end of the show. day.
That's 2 dogs.
That's 2 dogs.
You're like a third of the way to your own sled team. You're going to be the Iditarod next year.
I could. With
Mush.
alien dogs, so I'd probably win.
I don't think that's how it works.
Pretty sure it does.
Do you think alien planets have winters?
I mean,
But
possibly.
an alien planet.
I mean, but he has special powers, so I'm going to go with Yeah.
Who does?
Stitch.
It doesn't say Stitch. It says alien dog.
Well, they're implying.
No, they're not. They're just stating alien dog.
It's a blue blob on the front, so I'm assuming it's Stitch.
I mean, I've met a lot of dogs, and not a fucking one of them has been a blob.
I'm just saying that it's blue,
Okay.
like Stitch would be blue.
Tim, save us. What are you drinking?
Oh, I can't save you from that. I'm drinking some fancy store brand spring water.
Water?
Water.
Oh, you said you're tired, though.
Yeah, it's been a rough. I still got 3 more days of this crap to go, so.
But it's spring water.
Spring water. Because it's spring.
It is. I mean, it's fucking summer here in Arkansas this week,
It's
but yeah,
early
it's spring.
here. We got like second winter going on right now.
Yeah, it's
Jeez, we have
cold and
like
rainy.
pre-summer. It's like 97 degrees down here right
I
now.
wish. We haven't
Oh
broke
my God.
70 yet.
You wish. You have
no.
strange
I don't.
taste and wishes,
I don't wish.
sir.
I don't wish. You can keep that
I
there.
love the heat.
Nope, I will put on a second layer, but I can only take off so many articles of clothing before the cops are called.
We know. We've seen it.
Right? I'm in the
Yeah.
drive-through line, and nobody wants to peek over and see that. But if they do,
Dinner plates
I'll
for
give
everybody.
them a show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know.
Dinner plates.
What are you drinking, Mikey?
So I downloaded
that's
this
a
app
heavy sigh. Oh, God.
the other day. I was like, you know what? I want to know what drinks can I mix with the few items I have in my cabinet.
Oh.
So I download this app, and so many apps will do that.
I think I have that app, too. Which one is it
But-
called?
I don't even know. I mean, honestly, I don't.
I think
but
mine's
what
called
it'll
Liquor
do-
Cabinet.
Is it'll also tell you what you can swap out from the actual recipe with some other things you have to make your own personal riff on the cocktail recipe. So I have a riff on what I assume is the Canadian cocktail called the Banff.
The Banff?
Banff, Banff, which
Banff.
is Canadian because it's an airline. If you've ever watched South Park, the recipe calls for some Grand Marnier, just Angostura bitters, something called a Kirsch, and Canadian whiskey. Well, I have one of those 4 items, so it's a hell of a riff.
You have the Kirsch, huh?
I don't.
Oh.
I've got just like triple sec for the Grand Marnier because that's just like the Kmart version. And I do have bitters. That's the only green check mark. But for the Kirsch, it says to go with my maraschino cherry liqueur from my aviations. And then for the Canadian whiskey, it says just use your traditional American whiskey. So I've got a riff on the Banff. And since it's using American stuff, I'm going to call it the Sheboygan.
And how does it taste?
No idea yet.
Sheboygan.
Oh. And he's taking a sip.
I guess it's okay. It uses. I mean, a half. I don't know what Kirsch is, but a half ounce of the Luxardo cherry liqueur is a lot of cherry.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking with a rye, it would be a lot better because that would kill some of that cherry. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a rye whiskey with this, and it'd be fine. So there you go. I'm having a Sheboygan. Riff off
Right.
Banff. I recommend it to everybody.
I'm
Hell of
pretty
a lot
sure that
better.
I will not be made fun of this week for my choice of beverages.
I mean, I put effort into mine. It has like 4 different things. You just
I
pop
put
the top.
effort into mine usually as well. When they're that bad.
I didn't say it was bad.
I mean,
it's whiskey, it's cherry liqueur, it's some bitters, something else. I don't remember what it was.
All
I
right.
mentioned it.
We'll let you pass.
I mean, I got like whiskey and Coke on standby, so whatever.
There you go.
That's what I was following it up with. All right, that's what we're drinking. Tell us what you're drinking over at our Facebook group, and where is that located, Maria?
Facebook.com/3 sheets to the mouse.
Is it a backslash or a forward slash?
I don't fucking know.
It's a slash.
It's a slash.
Okay, just facebook.com
/groups.
Guns N' Roses 3 sheets to the mouse.
Slash.
No, Schlafly is what you're looking for.
I think everybody's on Facebook now. You just say
Yeah,
go
just
to Facebook
fucking
and type it in the search bar.
You know, and if
Type
you're
in
not
3
already
sheets.
part of the group, why the fuck not?
Well, probably because they requested on like a weekday.
Mm-hmm. I think we have like 7 or 8 people in right now that I
That's the
haven't
thing.
let in yet.
Well, you're busy stabbing kids,
I am.
so I
Yeah,
understand.
no, the kid stabbed himself. Listen, we can't tell this story on air because nobody's gonna understand. But if you want to know, message me and I'll tell
It's not
you.
all of our stories.
That's a lot. That's a lot of our stories. Anyway,
Okay, well, thanks for clarifying that. Now, clarify something else. What the hell are we talking about this week?
so we finished our ultimate Epcot. We think.
But now they're adding.
Oh,
but
wow.
now they're adding more shit.
Now that they're adding other stuff, we might have to go back and do an addendum on some of the ultimate Epcot episodes and redo them since Future World is completely changing in many ways. But we decided that the next park we were going to jump into was going to be Hollywood Studios, since that is the second park that has seen a lot of change over the past few years. And so now we are starting our Ultimate Studios, what the fuck do you call it? Episodes?
Series?
Series. Yeah, series. Thank you. God, fuck.
Yeah. Hey,
Wow.
series.
I teach English, folks. And I
I
couldn't.
weep for
Yeah.
tomorrow's children.
And I. Couldn't figure out the word series. So we are starting at the front of the park, and our first episode is going to be on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh shit! I was doing the parking lot.
Oh, shut up. You were not, you jackass.
No, I've got like the trams.
Oh, well, that's fine. Go for it. No.
Okay,
Okay.
they're
Because
blue.
you
I
did,
think.
you did attractions. There's only
I mean, it's a ride.
That is true. It's the first
You
ride
got
of
the
the
death
day.
buckets.
That's
I
true.
didn't touch those.
Yeah.
Nope.
So we didn't dive into the history behind MGM Studios and why it was built. That might be another show. In hindsight, Adam brought it up earlier this week. Like, we should probably talk about the backstory, and we were like, oh yeah, shit. Oh, later. We'll do that. We'll do that later. So,
It's a prequel. We're
it
giving
is.
you episodes 1, 2, and 3.
right. And then
we'll
we'll
come
go
back
back
into the
and
prequels.
we'll do it in the order that we should have
Yeah,
done.
this is the Crimes of Grindelwald.
And then we'll tell you to listen to it in machete order with like episode 5 first, and then go back to 1, and then 3 and 5.
Oh, God, don't go back to 1. Don't listen to the first 5 episodes.
Not that episode. The
First in the series.
First in the series.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking of the Lapu Lapu Fire in the French.
No, don't do that.
No, don't do that one.
Don't. Yeah, that's a rough one. I wasn't part of that, but it was rough.
No, you weren't.
No, I said I wasn't part
Yes,
of
you
that.
wasn't.
Oh, okay.
And it was rough. I have
Thought she
listened to
was
the first episode, though. It was
hallucinating.
pretty funny.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we kind of cut it into 4 areas. We did attractions. There's only one attraction, and entertainment. We did dining, we did architecture, and we did shopping. Adam is not with us tonight, and he was going to do shopping, so I kind of adopted that because I took architecture.
He's hooked up to more tubes than Boba Fett right now.
He is fine. You should probably reiterate he is fine. he is hooked up to tubes, but he's okay. Poor guy. So do you want me to start since I'm doing architecture, or
I mean, yeah, I feel like we should do the architecture with the shopping,
Okay.
and then maybe go into the things you can do there and be entertained by, and then finish up
with the dining.
Yeah.
The foodie food and the drinky drinks.
You save the best for last because
it's also going to be the shortest.
I've still never been there, so
I will say that some of my favorite drinks come from this area of the park. That is for sure. Okay, so I'll start with architecture and shopping then, since that's most of what Hollywood Boulevard is. So the Hollywood Boulevard area is based off of the Art Deco design of the 1920s and 30s. It is a sleek, geometric, stylized form of architecture with some, at that point, new man-made materials and natural materials. So this is when Art Deco is when the use of plastics really started to catch on and be more popular in architecture, but they also used glass and cement and stone and brick and all of that old-fashioned stuff, not old-fashioned, original stuff. I don't know. Natural materials. That's what I'm looking for.
It ain't straw.
No, it's
is
not
what
straw.
Trying to say. It's not. Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, it's not Adobe.
It is very simple, clean shapes. It has a streamlined, symmetric look. They're often geometric patterns. Its classic motifs are still used. So even though it's a more streamlined look to a building, you still see the motifs of like nude women, animals, foliage, sun rays. There are no nude women in Hollywood studios, though, just so you know, Mike.
Well, we were about to have to wind this back a minute because I've been looking.
You were looking for nude women? I don't doubt it. So
cloacas.
That's on the other side of the park,
and it's closed anymore, so you can't see a cloaca at Hollywood Studios. Sorry.
It used to be any port in a storm, but I guess they're closing them off now. So
that port is definitely closed. So when Eisner had this idea of building a third park, Epcot had already opened in 82. No. Yeah, 82, right?
Epcot opened in 82, yeah.
Right, because it just had
Don't ask me.
Well, Epcot and I are the same age, so, but I had to think about it for a second.
Oh, God, no. You and my wife are the same age then.
Yeah.
Oh, you say that like you knew?
I did know, yeah.
I'll be shit.
I knew that. Yes, I did.
I am married to Epcot.
There you are. Yeah.
Well,
you got it. You should be drunk all the time.
Girl, I've been drinking whiskey and sodas since 3 p.m.
Oh, I don't blame you, dude.
Right? You try being married to Horizons.
It's dated, man. Dated. So Eisner saw a need for a third park in Florida since Epcot and Magic Kingdom's attendance and popularity was growing through the 80s. He wanted a park that kind of exuded the glory of movies and Hollywood. He wanted a piece of LA and the movie production of Walt Disney Company in Florida. He wanted to be able to bring that same kind of like movie magic to a park in Florida. So he decided that he was going to build this park, and it wasn't just going to be a theme park, it was going to be a production studio. And he called it the Hollywood that never was and always will be, which is, a quote that we've heard before if you're a Disney fanatic. There are 8 buildings on Hollywood Boulevard that are either direct copies or at least very, very similar to buildings that are in LA. So what I imagine, and I'm totally off the cuff on this, what I imagine is that they were like, hey, we need a main street for this park. Like we need something like a main street for this park. And we want to go with this Art Deco idea, this architecture. What can we use? And it's like he sent Imagineers into LA and they were like, okay, we'll take that building and 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 we'll put it in the park. Because these buildings are literal copies of shit that you find in LA. As I was doing my research for this, I was like, oh, wow, that is incredibly similar. Yep, and that is incredibly yep, that's every single building on Hollywood Boulevard is a copy of something else that you can find in or around Los Angeles. So it was interesting to look at these pictures kind of as I was doing my research.
Well, let me jump in real quick. I just have you say that, and I have an idea and a thought. That's kind of the way Epcot is in the different nations. Is just like, I mean,
yes.
Specifically, I want to say like Italy, because Italy has like some really, scaled down representations of notable Italian architecture. Now, so my thought is, I wonder if you look at it like, oh my God, this is a ripoff because you're from the United States. And this is in the United States.
But I don't feel like if we had an American pavilion that was like the France pavilion or like the Mexico pavilion or like the Italy pavilion.
But what would that look like?
I think if we had an American adventure that looked like stuff from America, you would have the Statue of Liberty. You'd have the Lincoln Memorial. You'd have the White House. I don't look at.
I think the Imagineers wanted to downplay that because they were surrounded by all these other nations.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why it sits
you're
lower.
I feel like
places easily from.
I feel like the copies in World Showcase are because those are well-known things from that country. These are not well-known things from our country on Hollywood Boulevard. These are copies of building facades. It's almost like they were like, okay, we want to use Art Deco. Go find Art Deco. And instead of creating original designs, it was like, oh, we like this shop. And we want this shop to do.
Where else would you find Art Deco that looks like Hollywood, except in Hollywood?
Well, you can go to Miami and probably find the same buildings.
Right. And Art Deco architecture is going to look the same. However, the signs are the same. I mean, even like for instance, there is a building on Hollywood Studios, at least at opening. I have to pay attention the next time I'm there because there's a Pluto on top of one of the buildings. Well, the building that they took it from in LA was a pet shop. And instead of Pluto on top of the building, it's the dog on top of the building. The one that was the most copied was what used to be the camera store on Hollywood Boulevard. So it has this big neon looking, like Art Deco camera on the front of the shop. And that exact building is in LA. It's literally a carbon copy.
They did their home.
Well,
they understood the assignment. I think what the kids would say these days.
I don't see.
I think they said, "Hey, we want this street to look like Hollywood from the 1930s," and that's what they gave you. And you're shitting on it, Maria.
I think that
you're shitting on it.
I am a little bit, but I wouldn't be shitting on it if literally they copied a street from Hollywood. That's not what they did. They went around.
What do you want them to copy from Hollywood?
I don't want them to copy anything. I want them to think of their own original design, but that's not what happened. But I think because they had a quick turnaround time too, because the park opened by what, 89, 88? I don't even know. 89. So really, they only had a few years to figure this all out. So
why am I the Atom tonight?
You really are. Wow.
I know. I don't like it.
So from the entrance, we start with, we'll call it nostalgia. I call it copying. Other people might call it nostalgia. The entrance is fashioned after the Pan Pacific Auditorium, which is in LA. All of these buildings are from LA and the surrounding area, which is an indoor entertainment venue. For Eisner, it represented an old but like modern design of what Hollywood once was. The original Pan Pacific Auditorium was built in 1935. So all of the buildings that they decided to incorporate on Hollywood Boulevard were built in the 30s, which again is when the Art Deco type of architecture was popular. Upon entering the park, you enter right onto Hollywood Boulevard, and at the back of Hollywood Boulevard, you see the Chinese Theater, which is meant to look like ramens, of course. That is also located in California. The street that connects the front of the park to the back where Chinese Theater is strewn with buildings that beget a bygone era of the 1930s. So when the planning of the park began, Marty Schuyler?
No,
Marty
you're
Sklar.
fired. Right now,
Yeah.
you're fired. That was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that
you only
was
get
it.
one
That's
nail
what
in
did
your
it.
coffin. Just the one nail.
Marty Sklar was the main Imagineer on the project, and he looked for buildings that could be copied for the design of the park.
You're shitting on Marty Sklar
I am not
right
shitting
now.
on Marty Sklar. He is a brilliant man and has done a lot of good for the thing that we love, which is Disney. Thank you. The next thing is Crossroads of the World, which is copied after the Crossroads of the World outdoor shopping mall on Sunset Boulevard and Las Palmas in LA. The original icon was designed by Robert Dara, I think is how you say his last name, in 1936. Some of the shops on Hollywood Boulevard, we'll talk about the outside and then I'll talk about the inside. So you have several buildings that, if you're driving around LA, you can find them. The first one is Keystone Clothiers Apparel, Accessories, and Jewelry, which is a replica of the Max Factor Company, which is now called Mel's Drive-In. The original building was constructed in 1931 and has a Regency Deco architectural style. And then you have Taylor to the Stars. The building has a teal tile front and was copied off of a municipal light and water office. That was owned by LA's Department of Water and Power. The original building in LA was made in the 1930s. Well, not made, built in the 1930s in that Art Deco style. Pluto's Toy Palace, which is originally the store that had Pluto on top of its roof, on top of the building, is probably the most notable trait is Pluto on top, and the fact that Pluto's tail wags. This shop was based off of Moxley Dog and Cat Hospital, which was built in the 1930s. And then we have some buildings that are called programmatic architecture.
Oh yeah, adding attic to anything.
No, programmatic.
This is so 1930s. No, I mean like that's
Oh,
so
'cause they had
1930s
attics?
and 40s. Yeah, because it was like
No, it's automatic, that kind of, not
Oh.
attic in your
yeah,
house.
I
it
didn't
was
know
all
that.
about the ATIC. You could put ATIC at the end of anything that did something on its own, even though you engineered it to work that way and only that way. People fucking loved it back then, man. Transmissions got the Shift-O-Matic. Oh fuck yeah, give me that Shift-O-Matic.
Now that you say Shift-O-Matic, that makes sense.
Right? Yeah,
Okay.
the Cock-O-Matic.
So I'm sorry, never mind.
Jesus.
Okay.
It was only a big deal in California.
I can assume. So the programmatic type of architecture is when the building denotes what is inside the building. So let me explain.
Please.
The Brown Derby restaurant, which was a chain during the 1930s and 1940s, the original Brown Derby restaurant, which, as you guessed it, was in LA, was the shape of a brown derby hat. That is programmatic architecture.
So the cozy cone.
Correct, is programmatic
Yes.
architecture.
Holy
Yes.
dirty word
So,
from Cars.
Yeah.
Holy manifolds. I don't know.
So now they did not do this. They didn't do programmatic architecture with the Brown Derby restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard. However, on top of the building, you do have the Brown Derby shaped sign. And the very first restaurant that was shaped as the hat opened in the 1920s. It was 1926. I don't know that original is still there. Does anybody know if the Brown Derby restaurant is still open?
So
Oh yeah, I don't know why I say anyone.
Odds are in your favor.
I know, right?
But hey, if you're listening at home or on the road, be sure and let us know if Maria's wrong. I would love to hear that.
People don't hesitate to tell us that I'm wrong, so it's fine.
I don't hesitate to tell you that you're wrong.
Yes, that's true. The other one that used that type of architecture, the programmatic architecture, was the dark room. And so the dark room is the one on Hollywood Boulevard that has the camera built into the facade of the building. So this was when MGM first opened, that was a camera shop. The dark room was a camera shop. It's copied after the dark room camera store, which was on Miracle Mile, which is Wilshire Boulevard in LA. The original shop opened in the 1930s. So now that we have the unoriginal look of the buildings, the great look of the buildings, let's talk about what is inside some of them.
I feel like all she's doing is just taking one long turd from one end of Hollywood Boulevard down to the Brown Derby. You are just stretching feces from, you scan your magic band all the way down to where the Chinese theater is, which, by the way, is a carbon copy of Grauman's. But you didn't spend much time talking shit about that. Oh,
well,
no. Let's talk about this photography by a camera thing.
I didn't want to. Well, but here's the thing. I don't have a problem with them copying the Grauman's Chinese theater because that's what it's supposed to be. And we know that it is a copy of the Grauman's Chinese Theater because that theater is very well known in Los Angeles. None of these other buildings that they've copied, nobody even fucking knows what the hell they are. Nobody's seen them. It's not like, well, I do now that I've done the research.
To you.
Oh, to
They're
me.
not well known to you.
Nobody knows.
Now, if they built a whole
those.
fucking street that looked like Hershey, Pennsylvania, you would know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah, but nobody else would give a fuck.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't know what the hell else you want from a park named Hollywood Studios that looks like fucking California.
I don't know. But I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was like, if I looked at a building, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's the dark room. Nobody's going to look at that and be like, oh, that's the dark. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Have you been to Hollywood, California? Okay.
But none of these, it's not like all of these buildings are in one place. They drove around. One's a fucking power and water plant. Like, come on. I don't know. Okay.
You don't.
I don't. I really
Let's
don't.
move on.
All right.
Sorry, Tim. It's getting me right now.
So as far as what is in the shops,
oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Currently, you have the Celebrity 5 and 10, which is just very standard souvenirs, Disney Studios merchandise, and art by Brito and Jim Shore. I love me some Jim Shore art.
Oh God, they're putting out great stuff.
It is so fucking expensive.
Oh, well then that's why I don't know what that is.
There are some things that you could probably find that are affordable.
The smaller pieces are
like
relatively cheap.
I don't want to say the postcard size because they don't really have a whole lot of postcard size, but they do have some.
I'm a pretty big fan of Thomas Kincaid on a cracker tin. That's about my budget for art.
Yeah, we're not far behind you. And I'm not familiar with Brito. I think maybe if I saw some of his stuff, or her, I don't know who it is, his or her there. If I saw some of their stuff, I'd probably I'd probably recognize it, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't recognize the name. And then you have Cover Story, which in this shop, you can get your picture on the cover of a magazine. And then you could probably sing Madonna's Vogue as you do it. Because she sang about being on the cover of a magazine.
Right, but if you weren't on the cover of Vogue, then I probably wouldn't do that particular magazine.
No.
Like if you were shooting for something else, maybe don't.
Yeah, that's fine. We have the dark room, which used to be camera sales, developing film, supplies. Now it's a bunch of regular stuff that you can find everywhere else. But I will say that the dark room does have a good selection of magic bands that, like, right as you walk in the door, they are hanging up like in a kind of like a three-walled room that is kind of like secluded off of from the other stuff. You can also find a lot of like home goods, like that big pillow that says home and the O is the castle that I always keep looking at and never buy. You can find that in there. And then
Isn't there a D-Tech section in that store too as well?
I think, okay, yes, I think that D-Tech section is where they have all the magic bands.
Okay,
so it's like
that area that looks like a grade school science fair project.
It's like a trifold.
Poster board thing there.
And they also had like the cell phone cases and shit.
Yes, they have cases. They have pop
sockets.
Pop sockets. Thank you.
But if you want something custom, go to Springs.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then they also had. They have the magic bands, the phone cases, the pop sockets, and
can't you get ride photos printed off there too? Like anything from Disney Photo Pass, I think you can get printed there.
I'm sure I know that you used to be able to, but I don't know if they can or would be able to do that anymore.
I remember when we went, we were told we had to go by there and dink our magic bands to find some photos that didn't show up. And stuff like that. So
I will say that is where the exchange for the fuel rod is in Hollywood Studios. I have frequented that machine very often. You
love the rod.
I do love the rod. I actually, not for nothing, I do love our fuel rod. It just keeps on giving. And then when it's empty, you exchange it and you plug it back in.
Until it stops.
Yep, until it stops. Yep. And then you get a new one. And the rod is back.
It's like high school.
Sure. Then you have Disney & Co., which is fashion, extras, all the Disney accessories to complete, like, your perfect outfit. So you're going to find ears here. You're going to find hats. You're going to find, sometimes you can find Disney scarves. It's all of the accessory stuff.
Is this where they have, like the dresses, like the really nice Disney-themed dresses? Is this spot?
No. So
I remember it's somewhere on the Boulevard.
It is in there. I want to say it is not on Hollywood Boulevard. That's on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Between the two?
Don't get started about this park. It's not symmetrical. So I don't
no, it is not.
What's going on?
And then
like a Rorschach ink block
you
test.
have Keystone Clothiers, which is all things Star Wars, like Jedi robes and tunics and Galaxy's Edge stuff and Black Spire Outpost t-shirts and mugs and hats and water bottles and Funko Pops and toys, and it's all of the Star Wars stuff. That is also connected to, so I will say that I guess maybe both sides, but as you walk into the park, the left-hand side is kind of all connected, just like Main Street is. So like you walk in one shop, you can walk to the end through all of Hollywood Boulevard. You don't have to go back outside to get to another shop. So all of these shops kind of blend into each other. And I do remember that the next to Keystone Clothiers is where they have all of the Marvel stuff too, which was the last time that we were in Hollywood Studios was last year sometime. I don't think I was there during our last sheet up. I don't think I went to Hollywood Studios. And if I did, I didn't go in any of the shops. But they used to have the Star Wars stuff and the Marvel stuff like right next to each other. So as you walked through one, you kind of continued on through the other. And then you have Mickey's of Hollywood, which is where you're going to find the character merchandise and like the sunglasses, a bunch of mugs, hats, just a whole bunch of like Disney specific stuff where it's just like, you know, the Disney World t-shirts, Disney World 2022, you know, Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, like all of those mugs you'll find there. The 2022 picture frames that we all love to buy, the year specific picture frames.
Christmas ornaments.
Christmas ornaments, yeah.
That's our big thing.
Yes, we buy one
that
every time.
I seem to throw money at every time.
We buy a new Christmas ornament every time we go down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have Pluto's Toy Palace, which is characters, plushes, play sets.
It's a shame it's not dog pet stuff.
They
have a kiosk in Springs that's all Disney pet stuff. Like, you would think that they would throw some of that here because people love their pets.
And I wish that it would have been a little bit more specific to the name. Like, yeah, if it's Pluto's Toy Shop, it should be toys for dogs or animals at the very least. But
we have bought 6 different Woody from Toy Story. Woodies for the dogs. Play toys. I just say yes, honey, you can buy it at this point. But yeah, like 6 of them because
we do have some extinct shops, which was LA Prop Cinema Storage, which I'm pretty sure I remember stopping at once because one of the first times I ever went to Hollywood Studios, I was in college and I bought a camera, like one of the, I want to say reusable, but wasn't reusable. Disposable. Thank you. One of the disposable cameras. I know. What the fuck is wrong with me tonight?
Twice. You can't find words.
I don't know. It's been a week. Listen,
I've got literally Tuesday.
I've got a kid who stabbed himself in the leg at school. I've got a 12-year-old gang running around my hallway. It's just fucking chaos.
Trying to form your teacher gang.
I'm trying to form my teacher gang. If anybody wants to join my teacher gang, you let me know. You DM me and I'll tell you what the hazing is.
Is it stabbing yourself in the leg?
No, the hazing is just
neck.
No, the hazing is just being a teacher. That's the hazing.
That's hazing on its own.
That's yes,
that's
absolutely.
Not very fair.
No, it's fucking
not
hazing.
Not a teacher, but I want to do it. I want to be in a gang.
You want to be? Our gang name is going to be Zing Rhombus.
I'm fucking thuggish, ruggish bone.
That's sure. I can guarantee you're more thug than the 12-year-olds I have in my class.
For sheezy.
Yeet.
My teasy. She said yeet.
By the way, that's Kellen's favorite word right now is yeet.
Yeah, I would just send him back wherever you got him from.
I don't know where he came from. I don't know.
It was your uterus.
It was. I can't put him back there, though.
Oh, we can.
So there was also the Sorcerer Hat Shop, which
Bring back the hat.
R.I.P. Sorcerer Hat.
Oh, no.
Bring back the hat.
So
I love the hat.
So
fucking
the
great.
Sorcerer's
I love the
hat
so
didn't
much.
offer anything that was original to the hat. It was all like plush toys and pins and pin supplies
Pins, man.
Oh,
all the pins.
That's what else is in that little like kiosk area of the D-Tech. They have pins on the one wall, which is not tech at all.
Okay.
But that's what they have. They have a wall full of fucking pins.
How do you think they made them?
I don't know. With tech.
Probably from tech. Okay.
So that is the shopping and the wonderful original architecture of Hollywood Boulevard.
Well, that's your whole segment?
That's my whole segment.
Oh, well, I guess let me get my notes
All
up
right,
then.
it's your turn.
Yeah, well, let me tell you where you were wrong.
Okay.
Okay,
Everywhere?
No, I'm tasked with finding the attractions of Hollywood studios, which was very simple. I was told by the woman who has spoken a great length in this episode that there was something in the place of the Great Movie Ride before the Great Movie Ride.
I don't know where the fuck I got that from. I must have been
Me neither,
high or
for
drunk.
starters.
Drunk,
Yes,
definitely, because I've never been high.
Now, I think
I don't know.
I think Maria, what you were getting everything mixed up with is originally before Hollywood Studios was created, someone had the idea of throwing an attraction into Epcot that spoke to the movies of the past, and Eisner was like, "Shit, yeah, we need that." And then someone said, "Yeah, Epcot's kind of full." And he's like, "Well, shit, what do we do with it? Let's build a whole fucking park around that." And that attraction was the Great Movie Ride. So that attraction is literally what caused the creation of MGM Studios. The Great Movie Ride was an opening day attraction. It was a dark ride. My favorite rides in Disney are always dark rides. I love them.
I feel like those are the like the ones that stick around.
Well, I mean, they're indoors. They're
Well,
typically
it didn't go
slow
too well
paced.
for Great Movie Ride.
Well, that was really dated and it smelled like mold. Come on.
You will shut your
I'm
whore
just
mouth.
saying, it smelled like mold, just like Ellen smelled like mold. They both smelled like
That's
mold.
because I've smelled Ellen personally.
Oh yeah,
and you're
she's
not
moldy.
far off.
She have a moldy stench.
She is.
Okay.
Look, cheesy.
All right.
Very much
that's fine.
cheese. So the Great Movie Ride, open day attraction, it was a dark ride. It was all indoors, and it showcased some of film history's greatest scenes using animatronics and other special effects. I really enjoyed it the first time. The only time we rode it was fantastic. Then Disney said, "Yeah, it's going away." Anyway, the queue for the Great Movie Ride was basically almost like a film memorabilia museum almost, because they had all kinds of different displays from, cinematic history. I know when we went to it, they had the dress that Scarlett wore in, Gone with the Wind on display. I was like, holy shit, that's satin. I was very impressed. A lot of scenes. Now, we're not going to go into the whole attraction. I'm not going to go into the whole attraction on this. We've done that show on episode 30, so go back, check out episode 30. You can hear all about how I really enjoyed it and what parts I really enjoyed. But that was the opening day attraction. Now, if you go to Hollywood Studios today, you get what they gave us after this was shut down for a lengthy refurbishment / complete changeover to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which I always call Runaway Railroad, and I'm sure people would scream at me on the Reddit Twitters, but it's Runaway Railway. Opened in 2020. My wife and I finally got a chance to ride it last year at 5 at 50. It is, in my opinion, it's a crazy impressive trackless dark ride, still a dark ride, but it does an amazing job of putting the guests that ride it into a two-dimensional world full of animated cartoons. You feel like you're in a cartoon.
I love this ride.
And there's no other way to put it.
I love this ride so much.
The new queue forgoes all of the memorabilia in exchange for queue lines and posters from various Mickey Mouse films that are actual Mickey Mouse films. And the guests, before you get on this ride, you're treated to a short film called The Perfect Picnic. And by the end of the film, things go crazy, yada, yada, yada. No spoilers if you've not gone to that attraction, but then you get on the ride and the real fun begins. Okay, that's the only ride on Hollywood Boulevard is just at the literally the very end of it. Like, I mean, I would side with Adam almost when he was like, is there anything there? Because it's at the end of the boulevard with other things. So it's a bit of a gimme to say this is part of Hollywood Studios Boulevard, because it's all the way at the very end of it where there's kind of like this weird circle roundabout Crossroads thing happening, but Disney says it's on Hollywood Studios Boulevard, so that's why it's here, and it gave me something to talk about. And if you haven't ridden Runaway Railway, I would definitely encourage you to, because you're not going to find any more fun stuff like that, because they're not reopening Beauty and the Beast. They'll sing along, tell thing, enchanted stuff in Magic Kingdom, which is the closest you're going. Fucking A, man.
I will say I do love this ride. I love it more than I did the Grape movie ride.
I enjoy it. I like it a lot.
I can't say that I like it more. I'd have to go on it, maybe one or two more. It's probably got more rewritability.
I agree.
Because I'm a movie nostalgia, a movie buff, all of that, which is what the park was built around, is why the Grape movie ride really spoke to me.
Right.
Completely. Like, that was like, this is exactly what I mean, I wish I could have been there for the whole backlot tour, but anyway. Aside from this one attraction on Hollywood Studios, the rest of the entertainment comes down to parades, of which there have been 37,000 different parades in Hollywood Studios.
Have there really?
No.
I don't think I've ever gone to Hollywood Studios when it actually had a parade, like an actual parade. I've gone for the cavalcades.
We've not been there very often, apparently.
Oh, really?
Now, the first actual parade on Hollywood Studios down Hollywood Boulevard. Oh my gosh, I can remember the video that I had to sit through for this episode. It was Dinosaurs Live. 1991, ABC had the Dinosaurs, the sitcom, which was nothing but costumes. Okay,
yeah, not the mama.
It was no, exactly. It was the honeymooners, but dinosaurs. Yeah. Now, the parade was prefaced by a small marching band, which is a brass section and a few percussionists. And the only float in the entire parade was this super sketchy 2-story parade float that was behind the marching band. Now, and there was a fake film crew, which is that's how Hollywood Studios and MGM worked. Was everything? The whole idea was it was supposed to be you're in the middle of Hollywood and things are being filmed. So I get that. I will grant them the fake film crew. If you go do Indiana Jones, it's the same thing going on there. The idea, though, behind this parade was, and it's the first parade ever, it was a welcome parade. It was supposed to be a surprise to a family visiting the parks and letting them ride this opening day float through Main Street.
Well, that is a horrible looking
not Main
float.
Street, Hollywood Boulevard. It's sketchy AF, man.
That is.
Nope. I wouldn't get on the top floor of that.
That is a
it's a bad
lawsuit
deal.
waiting to happen.
Yes, it is.
Holy fuck.
Now, this whole thing was the story was it was being filmed as a promo for the parks, and the surprise family happened to be the Sinclair family, hashtag Dinoco, from the TV show Dinosaurs, and the whole family was there, and they were all in costumes. You had Allums. Allums were up on the top deck of this. Now, the bottom floor had some dancers doing this weird dance, and like they had berets on. There was a bunch of girls, and the berets didn't. I couldn't figure out what the hell this had to do with anything. The berets. Then the parade stops in front of the Chinese theater. There's a bit of a set change. There's some new music for the dancers and a whole new set of dancers, and they're all cave women. And this is where the show really starts getting good for guys. Hey, how you doing? It's furs, it's scantily clad a little bit. There's poles for them to dance around, and they do their whole thing, and they dance to Walk the Dinosaur at this point, because the first is an original song, and then they dance to Walk the Dinosaur. I was like, oh, I've heard that 4 years ago in the 80s. And at the end of that song, when the producer and the director is like, okay, that's good, Grandma's like, I want more. I loved it. Give me more. So they do an encore of Walk the Dinosaur with more dancing. And then the parade ends and they drive off. It was totally weird, but also totally 90s. Do yourself a favor, watch the video, and then bleach your eyeballs. That was 1991, okay? In 92, the first real parade kind of showed up, and it was, again, same small marching band. It had more floats animatronics. This would have been after Aladdin was released, and you had Aladdin's Royal Caravan. This parade ran up to 1985. 3 years this parade ran. And it was really good because Disney had a real handle on how parades should kind of operate. They had a lot more animatronics. They still had the same rethemed double-decker death trap of a bus from Dinosaurs Live, but they had like a huge genie, and more importantly, they had these great big giant camels that got repurposed in Magic Kingdom in Adventureland, and they're the same ones that spit on you.
Oh, we're so lucky that they're still around.
These camels came from the Hollywood
They
Studios
are a national
Aladdin's Caravan.
treasure.
So like I said, that ran in 1995. Now, in 97, after the Aladdin's Royal Caravan, there was a bit of a hiatus, and Disney really got a handle on how parades should work. We got the Toy Story The Parade and it ran until 2001. Nope, that's not accurate. I'm getting ahead of myself. It ran until an undisclosed amount of time that I didn't dictate. After that, you had the twice daily Hercules Zero to Hero Parade.
I saw that one.
That ran for only 1 year.
Well, I was lucky then.
After that, Mulan ran, and the Mulan Parade actually debuted on the same day the film was released, and it ran until 2001. So, from 97 to 01, you had Toy Story, Zero to Hero, and then Mulan. I will say, I watched some of the Toy Story stuff. That looked like a really solid parade, way better than the other stuff I've seen. Now, 2001, because this is Y2K, things got a little weird, and you got Stars and Motor Cars, which was probably the weirdest of the bunch. It's more of a cavalcade than a parade, but you had all these different cars that were totally customized with cool themes to match the different movies and characters they represented. And honestly, they looked like life-size Hot Wheels cars. Like if you were going to buy a Hot Wheels car from Toy Story and you got a Buzz Lightyear car, you'd have some shit that was definitely purple and green and red and white. Maybe some wings on it. That's what we got from the Stars and Motor Cars. It was just crazy. Go back and look at it. And you know what? It still kind of runs today. So it's crazy. That kind of was like the normal parade until 2008, when we got Pixar's Block Party Bash, which was almost a precursor to Move It, Shake It, Twerk It, Dance-a-thon in Magic Kingdom. It was a roving dance party that had basically every character from Pixar up until 2008. They were on a float or they were walking alongside of it. And as the parade went on after 2008, more characters were added on up until 2011 when it ended. It was actually pretty cool.
What was the name of that one?
It was called the Pixar's Block Party Bash.
Okay, when did the Countdown to Fun Parade?
I mean, it turned into that.
Okay, because I'm looking at some of those. Like, as you're talking, I'm kind of typing stuff into Google.
Yeah, no, it morphed into that, but it was basically the same thing, just without the dancing. Because the Pixar thing, the Party Bash stopped, and there was full-blown dancing with the guests and stuff. But when they went to Countdown of Fun, they pulled the dancing out of it, and it became less like the movie Twerk It. I will say, side note on that is the float with the Incredibles officially takes the new title for Death Trap because that's some horseshit. If you go back and watch it, you've got the Incredibles dancing on top of these spires that are like they're moving 4 to 5 degrees one way or the other when they're going up to it. Nope, that's a nope for me. So, this ended in 2011, and we had just like some random stuff for a little while. And 2014 saw the first major change, which would have been the park's 25th anniversary. And you also had the Frozen Royal Welcome, which I got to see that, which is a whole lot of fun to see. That parade. It was great. But that's also the first year we had the marching of the First Order.
Oh.
So yeah, 2014 was crazy for parades in Hollywood studios. Now, I'm sure I missed some because every movie had a parade in Hollywood studios back then. And there was some like really small stuff that went on in the in-between times. And there were various music acts on stage at the Hat and in front of the theater. But basically, there's always been some kind of entertainment on Hollywood Boulevard, at the end of Boulevard. Fucking A, I'm Canadian all of a sudden. Specifically, I can't do this, and I'm not going to do it justice. But the citizens of Hollywood, I would be doing no justice to the park if I didn't mention that, because, and they haven't been around for a couple years, obviously because of the COVID and stuff like that, and the layoffs and what have you. But the citizens of Hollywood, to catch the Streetmosphere performances, hands down, some of the best stuff you can experience in Hollywood, because it's not just these guys doing a skit. They bring, like, if you stop to watch it, there is a high chance you're going to get brought into that performance and be part of what's going on. And all of these characters, they're themed from the golden age of Hollywood. You've got film producers, you've got Hollywood hunks, you've got starlets, and all the ensemble that would be involved with that, from the guys running the camera and the guys setting up chairs and stuff, and they all draw guests into this, I'm going to call it loosely scripted and heavily improvised narrative that you get drawn into, because they can bring you in and make you feel a part of it, just like they know what to say to make you feel like you're a part of what's going on right then. It's so awesome to be a part of. It's so awesome to see, which is a good thing I've been a part of, because I would just be trying to trip them up and I'd be failing miserably and looking like an asshat. So thank God no one's looked at me. But that's another bit of entertainment you can get down there. And the last bit, God bless, I went really deep with parades and fucking scratched the surface of it. Someone gave me this, I don't remember their name. It probably rhymed with Gaddam. No, I volunteered, but then everything. Fireworks, okay? Fucking, there's always, it seems like there's always been fireworks behind the Chinese theater. Which, by the way, okay, I got ahead of myself. The Chinese theater went away for a while because it was blocked by a big-ass blue and gold hat. The reason the hat was ever put up right there was because there were some legal issues between Disney, the MGM Studios, and the estate that handles Grauman's Chinese Theater, whether or not they could use that likeness as being the main quote-unquote weenie or whatever that you see when you enter the park. That was the main thing you saw. So Disney erected the hat. That's why the hat was put there, to get out of a lawsuit.
Is that why they use Tower of Terror in a lot of park merchandise?
Probably.
Interesting.
I mean, it was the hat before,
right.
But I think then they went to Tower of Terror, which yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I would. Yeah.
It was the Earful Tower in the beginning.
I mean, it was the Earful Tower.
Well, that's true.
But
I forgot about that.
That's not there now.
No, yeah.
So
none of it's there anymore.
None of it. So yeah, fireworks. Typically they're shot off either behind or on top of the fucking theater. And for the last several years, they've used a lot of projections and, honest to God, fire to add to the show. But the first actual show from the theater area was Symphony in the Stars back in 2010. And that has some pyrotechnics. It was a pyrotechnics show that featured John Williams. Nope. John Williams' score from Star Wars with voice clips from the movies. Now, this Symphony in the Stars evolved over the years and eventually became to be known as Symphony in the Stars, A Galactic Spectacular in 2015 and 2016. And that's when we had a lot more films to draw from, and the projections were way better, because I think when first it started it was just music and fireworks, but now in 2016 we had much better projections to work with. Cycling back, in 2012 was the most obscure fireworks show they had, because in 2012 Obama made a speech at Magic Kingdom, and all the parks tried to figure up something they could do to draw people away so Magic Kingdom wasn't overwhelmed. And Hollywood Studios had a one-night-only fireworks show called Rock the Park. The fireworks was set off while Mulch, Sweat, and Shears, which is the house band from Flower and Garden?
Well, they were
Right?
well, they were in the Canada Pavilion, were they not? Or no, that was off
I
kilter.
don't
I'm
know.
sorry. No, Mulch, Sweat, and Shears was somebody's.
I feel by the name of Mulch, Sweat, and Shears
yeah,
it was
no, that's true.
a Flower and Garden
Yeah,
musical
maybe it was.
thing. Anyway, this is 2012. So they performed on stage with fireworks behind them, but since the music was live, there was nothing for syncing. I mean, they did the best. They played, fireworks shot off. Yay. Obama's, a mile away. Then, 2014 and 2015, you had the Frozen sing-along, or this Frozen fireworks spectacular thing, which, think of the Frozen sing-along, but without the town historians, or Elsa. You just had Kristoff, Anna, and Olaf. And they got out and they did their spiel, they did some whatevers, and then they went away, and it was basically just the soundtrack to Frozen with fireworks. There was no lyrics on screen. They did have Anna, Kristoff, and Olaf, and they did have a little back and forth before the fireworks went off. That was, fun to listen to. There was no really improv to it. But then the fireworks went off, they were synced to all the songs from Frozen. This was during the Frozen Summer of Fun event that went on. We actually caught this because I think this was 2014 on our first trip. We managed to catch that. This went off for a year, and then 2016 you had the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular that went on for a while, which was virtually when it started, there wasn't really a whole lot of pyrotechnics. It was a lot of projection mapping and a little bit of flames. And the projection mapping was all like scenes and bits and audio and stuff from all the movies. And I think fireworks came in like later on in this run. But I want to say that at the beginning, it was just like the flame embargoes that went off the theater. And in 2017, we had Disney Movie Magic, which was, again, mostly projections on the facade of the Chinese theater and the buildings to the left and right of it. It showed snippets from Disney animated films and also some live action features as well, with some Marvel stuff. Marvel? Yeah, we go way back. Marvel. No pyro. It was specifically just projections. Then that went away in 2019. We got Wonderful World of Animation, which is nothing at all like Wonderful World of Color. It was supposed to only run 1 year, again, heavily based on projections, but then COVID showed up and fucked all that shit up. It's just come back. It's got all new scenes. It is, like I said, Wonderful World of Animation, so it's all animated stuff. It's broken up into different themes. The themes are magic, family, action, love, villains, friendship, the past, and it all started with a mouse. Mouse. My tongue gets in the way. It's a la la la. But again, it's all Disney's animated films, and you have all the music that goes along with it. Now, unlike Movie Magic, this rendition for 2022 actually does have pyrotechnics and a lot of flares that get shot off, from the theater. God, so much shit went on Hollywood Boulevard. Thank y'all. Now, aside from the parades, there's been a whole lot of shit went on in front of the theater during the day and at night for concerts and stuff like that. But I think the only thing that really stands out most to me was the Star Wars: A Galaxy Far, Far Away stage show.
Oh, you mean the fashion show? It was it was a fashion show.
No,
that's what it was.
I don't know. No, I don't think we're talking about the same show. Okay, tell me about your show.
They came out onto the stage and they showed off their goods. They were like, "Here I am," and they did some twirling.
It was a cosplay stage
pretty
show.
Much.
But it did have movie clips being shown on the tiny little bitty
screens,
grade school level projection screens.
You remember when you were in elementary school and the teacher fucking wheeled that TV into the room?
That was the audio visual part, and you'd do good to remember that.
So great. Those were great days.
And if you were lucky, you were sitting close to the projector, and bong, and you got to crank the next vibe. This didn't have that, but you did have the droids on stage. Chewie, you had characters from the Empire. You did have the stormtroopers marching in under the command of Captain Phasma, and Boba Fett did shoot a rocket.
It's a true story.
Off his back.
I will say that for a fashion show, it was very, very entertaining.
I really enjoyed it. This was the first and only time I've seen someone in a Boba Fett garb, and of course I wasn't a huge fan of it. And I'm not going to get into that. But I thought it was cool to see him like, oh hell yeah, it's Boba Fett, and then like the rocket shot out of his back when he bent over like he was taking a shit. I was like, oh cool. But mostly BB-8 rolled around, so I remember that part.
Yeah.
And so help me God, that's about all the entertainment on Hollywood Boulevard as of 3 weeks ago.
My favorite is Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam.
I didn't want to fuck with that. No, wait a second. That was Animal Kingdom.
No, Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is that.
Jungle Bam.
Yeah, that Jungle Bam. Yeah.
But Jungle was that.
Okay, well, first off, you can't fuck with me about Jingle versus Jungle Bam because they sound the same and the keys are right the fuck next to each other.
Yeah, Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam is so fucking great.
Jingle Jungle was that. Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fantastic.
The only thing left to do in Hollywood studios is throw your money at people.
That's true.
For stuff to
for
consume.
Food and drink.
Tim, please, because I'm tired of talking.
And there's decidedly less of that to do on Hollywood Boulevard than any of the other stuff.
I mean, there's a few things, but not much.
It's 3.
Yeah. Well,
starting from
so wait, do you? Okay, so I know what we're counting right now for food and drink. Do you count the little kiosk that's right next to Grauman's Chinese Theater, or is that considered Echo Lake?
That's considered. No, I think that's considered part of Grand Avenue.
Oh. Ooh.
Or Commissary Lane is considered one of those parts. The only thing that Disney actually considers Hollywood Boulevard, and starting from the front of the park, is the Trolley Car Cafe. Which, if you guys have ever seen it, it looks like an old-timey Spanish California mission-style trolley barn.
Which is so weird because that doesn't fit in with the rest of Hollywood Boulevard.
So are you bitching about them putting something?
I'm just saying.
Mean, fucking hey, Maria.
Well,
no,
it kind
you
of does
complained
when
that
you
it
line up
too much, and oh my god,
the next restaurant. But this is basically a fucking Starbucks.
It is.
You do have the famous carrot cake cookie that was moved over from the Ryder stop. You can find that there.
It is so good.
So good.
Thank you, Kate Smith, for making the whole thing on like 6 different podcasts. It's good, but I can't fucking eat one. I can't eat one.
You mean you have to split it, or you can't eat a whole one?
I mean, the answer to that would be both.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're big.
the
They're
way you
gigantic.
worded it.
They,
Yeah, I
it
can't
is
get-
definitely not like light and fluffy.
Yeah, no, the average person has no
It's heavy.
business.
It's very
so
heavy.
heavy. You have no business trying to consume that by yourself.
And we
Share it with
We
you,
bought Kate
your
8
spouse,
one time.
random people.
8?
Yeah, what the hell did you expect her to do with 8 of those?
Because that was when Ryder Stop was closing to make room for Baseline.
Oh.
And we heard that they were just going away. We didn't know they weren't saying if they were coming back or not. So we just bought her. And she froze them. She took them home and froze them.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
And I love me some carrot cake. I will eat the shit. It's because, no.
But it is so good.
Hey, listen, next time at Hollywood Studios, I'll split one with anybody. But I ain't eating it all. Ain't happening.
And you can also find all your assorted Starbucks drinks and an assortment of pig, cheese, and egg sandwiches.
Big cheese and
egg.
Pork, bacon, ham.
No,
sausage.
I think Starbucks shit is all turkey bacon now, isn't
No,
it?
this part of it is part of. Those are Disney's breakfast sandwiches. They're not Starbucks.
Yeah.
Okay, but Starbucks shit is
Yeah,
like turkey
yeah,
bacon.
the
Turkey and
Starbucks.
tofu
You can
and
get the turkey
impossible
bacon.
meat.
You can get the turkey bacon
And
sandwich.
smoked Gouda.
Yeah. You can get the turkey bacon breakfast sandwich at that Starbucks because I've gotten it there before. But they do have other things that are just
Why would
specific
you get
to.
turkey bacon
I
instead
like
of
it.
bacon?
I-
Bacon? What is
I
wrong
like
with
it.
you?
It tastes.
Oh, so
I
you?
don't know.
No, it doesn't. It
tastes
doesn't.
good
You-
in a
no,
sandwich. It tastes
no,
good.
No,
I like it. I don't know what
you know
you're
what it
bitching
doesn't
about.
taste like. It doesn't taste like bacon.
Well,
That's the
no,
fuck
it
doesn't
tastes
taste
like turkey. Anyway, moving on.
Yes. So the next other restaurant on Hollywood Boulevard is the Brown Derby.
Never been there.
Really?
I
That's one
still
of my
haven't
favorite
been
places.
to Nomad.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm the one that gets fired. Okay. All right.
No, it's no, because we can all agree. Animal Kingdom, is it a must-do park anymore,
Yeah, it is.
Maria?
Yeah, but we're not talking about Animal Kingdom. We're talking about Hollywood Studios.
I know. I'm just.
So, as Maria said before, the original Brown Derby restaurant was shaped like a Brown Derby hat. Now, funny story, when Disney entered the licensing program with the Brown Derby company, it was for a replica of the original restaurant. So it was going to be shaped like a giant hat.
Get out.
But because they figured the original restaurant didn't do too well as the hat because it was too small, they kind of designed it after the later Beverly Hills Brown Derby, which is the white stucco with the red awnings and the scaffolding on top with just the shape of the Brown Derby
Right,
hat on
that
the top.
sign.
Couple
They
of
needed a
notable
bigger hat.
things about the Brown Derby is that's where the Cobb salad was originally supposedly first created. Shirley Temple says that it's also credited for making the Shirley Temple drink. It's mostly famous for its decor, which is the walls are lined with caricatures of famous Hollywood celebrities done by two separate artists. One was Nick Volpe, and I forgot what the other one was. I had it in my notes here, but it's currently missing. But the original Brown Derby restaurant was owned by Robert Cobb, Herbert K.
Cobb
Sanborn,
salad.
which is Gloria Swanson's husband,
Oh.
and Wilson Misner. No,
Hey, he had a bar at the
Oh.
Floridian.
he did
Now
until they
it's
took it away too.
Now it's Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And doesn't
Lightly.
fit.
Lightly themed.
But neither would like him from Hollywood's. But good talk.
And speaking of bars, you also have outside the Brown Derby Lounge.
I frequent this
Which
one
is-
frequently.
Yes, we all
I
do.
don't.
It's
It's
come to be a hangout
yeah.
for cheaters when we hit the Hollywood studios, and because the seating area outside at the actual bar itself is kind of tiny, but it connects to like this bigger courtyard area that you can sit and people watch and have a couple of
What
drinks,
did
and that's where
That used to be another food spot.
yeah, it used to be another food
What-
spot. I don't remember what it was.
I don't
but it used
either.
to be another food spot.
Was it
I feel like I'm missing out because you guys made me sit in Baseline
Well, no, Baseline is great
last
too.
year. Right, but I've never been to that
Right.
either. But I just
One at a
gonna
time,
have to
Mikey.
wait for a while till I can get. And trust me, I have a long list with unchecked boxes.
All right.
And this is on it. But fucking.
But this is where I think Todd figured out you can get a Schafferhofer and gin.
You can. The original.
You can get that in a
well,
cart.
well, there's only one cart in Hollywood Studios that we know of that carries both Schafferhofer and alcohol, like free pour alcohol, and that is the cart outside of Frozen Ever After.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry, Frozen Sing Along, not Frozen Ever After. Frozen Sing Along.
They know what
Yes.
you mean.
You
can be just like wrong adjacent. It's okay.
But the other spot that you can get a Schaffen gin, and the spot where Todd always gets it, is at Brown Derby Lounge. For the fact that he orders it here often enough that the bartender is like, oh yeah, you're the guy. Because the guy always looks at him, the bartender always looks at him like, you want a what and what? Oh, yeah, you're the guy. I mean.
Well, here you can also get a martini fashioned after its famous grapefruit cake.
So good.
You got it.
I've had the martini. Oh, several times. So good.
It's Deep Eddy Ruby Red Grapefruit Vodka, Stoli Vanilla Vodka, and a splash of cream with a graham cracker crust on the rim.
Oh, yes.
Listen, Deep Eddy Grapefruit is like the best vodka
so
out
good.
there. James brought it one time to visit and told me to go buy a jug of grapefruit juice, and it was redacted. That night was re-fucking dacted.
I always get their Hollywood Manhattan here because it's made with Michter's single barrel rye.
Oh.
It's so good.
Listen, I say like I'm gonna fucking drink it. I'm not. But
Right?
but
Yeah,
that sounds like that would.
You're like, oh, it's a
Oh,
rye.
ooh.
Ooh. Like, you know what a fucking
Yeah,
rye
nope.
is. No.
Yeah, like a bunch of beers on tap, standard Scotch and bourbon and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. Besides the last one that I'm saving the best for last, and that's the popcorn cart at the very end. That's kind of almost in Animation Courtyard, but it is the best place and the only place that you should get popcorn from in Disney, period. For some reason, it's the best popcorn. It just hits differently.
Pop up loves some popcorn.
Just from that cart. I won't get it anywhere else on property but that cart.
It's so funny.
And I have to do it every time I'm in Hollywood Studios.
It's just like he has to get that Rice Krispie treat at the confectionery on Main Street.
I'm just strange.
I mean, it's like you think that it's fresh. It could have been like yesterday's. You don't know.
But it tastes fresh.
Yeah, the ones at the confectionery are fresh. Especially if you catch them in the morning when they're first making them.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
are they like the ones like are on the shelf or fresh? Or
No, the ones in the
No.
you
case.
say, hey, give me a freshie fresh.
These are not wrapped in plastic.
They're the ones in the case.
These are in the case on the
okay.
little baking trays.
Mhm. So good.
Listen, and this has nothing to do with Hollywood Studios, but I don't know if it's just this whole quote Disney magic, stuff that everyone talks about. But the absolute best Rice Krispie treat I've ever had has been at Disney World. So, I don't care.
Was it
I
from
got
Main
one
Street?
shaped like Mickey Mouse. I don't know where the hell it was. I remember eating it in front of Rapunzel's castle.
Yeah, it was probably from Main Street. No?
It wasn't. No, we would have bought that on the way out.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
true.
when we got this, but it was.
Well, I think the only other place to get them
Big
from
Top?
is Big Top
Yeah.
Treats.
I could be wrong about the whole thing. I just know it was shaped like Mickey Mouse's face head parts. We had chocolates on it. It may have been Epcot. And I split it between everybody in my group. But damn it, if it wasn't the absolute best Rice Krispie treat I've ever had.
They're
And
so
that's
good.
the thing is like Rice Krispie treats is when you think about like, you've all had them as a kid growing up. And your mom made them on like just a baking pan, and they were like a half an inch thick. Disney Rice Krispie treats, you're looking at like you're like 5/8 to 7/8 of an inch thick.
Oh, no, they're almost a full inch or more thick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's like Bob Vila would go like, that's an inch, and but it tastes just like they came out of the oven. They're so good. I don't know what they do. It's some voodoo shit. They're sprinkling on it coming out. Every one of them you eat, a ginger gets a soul. I'm calling it now.
I wouldn't go that far.
You just well, you would. I would. You just someone's getting that soul, because you can't have something taste that good that's been wrapped in plastic for 6 days, and you're like, "This is the best thing I ever had," and you give your kids some, and your other kids some, and your wife some, and like your in-laws some, and a stranger person some, and next thing you know, everyone's going to hell. It's good.
What?
It's a good.
So wait,
treat.
back to the popcorn. What makes that popcorn?
I don't know. It's all the same. It really is all the same popcorn. It's Pop Secret. It's the same shit but for some reason that one tastes different to me, and I can't explain
every single time, or is it just
every single time?
Is it just because that's what you get?
What do you mean?
Well, he says it tastes different. I think he means better. It tastes better to him.
At that, for some reason, it tastes better from that cart than anywhere else.
So weird. I wonder why.
It
I'll
is.
have to get it next time. I remember the last time that we were in Hollywood Studios and the Christmas decorations are out because Hollywood Studios
because it was Christmas time.
But because Hollywood Studios is my favorite park at Christmas. And
yeah, not Animal Kingdom. Fuck that place.
Nah. But they had the light bulb, the Christmas light bulb popcorn buckets, and it was I can't remember if it was the red or the green that had sold out in Magic Kingdom, and people were waiting hours on end for whatever fucking color Christmas light bulb. I don't know. But we were in Hollywood Studios the next day, and I was like, there's a whole fucking bunch of the color that they were just wrestling over in Magic Kingdom. They're all right here. They're at that popcorn bucket stand, that popcorn stand. It was just come to another park, folks. You don't have to stand in line for popcorn buckets.
No, everyone goes to Magic Kingdom, and everything else gets slept on. They probably had the same buckets at Animal Kingdom, Hollywood
they were
Studios.
Super cute.
You just mentioned that.
I wish I would have gotten one because I could display it for a decoration, maybe.
Put it on your tree. It's
I
fucking
could
light bulb.
have put it on my tree. There you go.
I've never had popcorn at Disney because I don't like popcorn.
Well, you are a sad man.
I am a sad man. I'll be the first one to tell you. Something is broken with me. My wife loves popcorn. We just went and watched Doctor Strange, something multiverses or whatever, and she bought this year-long popcorn bucket that we can keep getting refills at the theater. And I'm like, we'll go back, just me and her. I won't eat any of it. I don't like popcorn.
It's so good.
I just don't like it. Unless it's covered in chocolates and stuff. And the Boy Scouts are selling it because that's some pretty fucking good popcorn. And I know it's bagged up 6 months ago, but by the time I opened it, it tastes great. So I don't know. And Cracker Jacks, because it's Cracker Jacks. It's got a whole song about it. Love Cracker Jacks. Movie theater popcorn, do without it.
All right, let's bring this train to the station.
So
this train
there you go.
is the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad.
No,
because is it
Yes.
railway? That's railroad. That's fuck the internet. Listen, the train, Mickey and Minnie's train, coming to the station on Hollywood Boulevard, because fuck y'all's. I love Hollywood Studios. Probably my wife and I. It's probably our favorite park, even without the Star Wars business, because she could care shit less, except for scanning shit. I love Hollywood Studios. Maria,
Yes.
I love the Art Deco
I know.
style and how it looks like stuff copied literally from the place it's supposed to be copied
I know.
from.
I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have to do a couple of these where we do extinct.
No, I feel like you're just wrong.
We're gonna have to do like each of the different areas of the park, but then that park looked so incredibly different just a decade ago. So I feel like we're gonna have to do a bunch of shows on like extinct stuff. And
I think like if from like a satellite, a decade ago it looked different. I wasn't even there a decade ago, so I wouldn't know.
Well,
the
there
difference.
were so many different rides, and I know that in the past, like before I was hosting,
you're
you guys
basically
did
just
a bunch
talking
of stuff.
about the Star Wars expansion.
Well, Star Wars, and there was Hollywood
and Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Yeah, that's
that's true.
My first time, none of that was there,
that's
and
true.
I still enjoyed it. So, I mean, sip your fucking dog tank
Alien
beer
dog. Thank you very much.
Tim, how are you doing, Tim? What's up, man? Is that your Fox and the Hound shirt?
Yes, it is.
One of the worst movies ever.
All right, well, now I'm just hanging up on you and you're fired.
No. I mean, it's a great movie, but God bless it to watch it as an adult.
We're not going to go
You're
down that
just
road
like-
today. Let's wrap this up.
No. Well, you wore it. I don't know why you're getting mad at me.
I'm not getting mad at you. You're just not a topic to bring up right now. That's for another show.
You
All
wore
right,
it.
Tim. Closing remarks. Ready, go.
Well, Adam's not here, so I guess I'll do the coming up things. We have Wine and Dine in November. I think it's the 3rd to the 7th or something like that. And then we also have before that is the cruise, which is August 15th to the 22nd. It's 2 separate cruises. And a lot of people going on that one, so
It'll be a hot mess.
it will.
We just bought our tickets today.
Did you?
She's trying to figure out how do we get from MCO to the thing, and I'm like, I got an idea, but if you got a better idea, I got to post in the events page, so let me know before I pay for my idea.
So is it out of?
Is a thing.
It's out of Port Canaveral.
Yeah.
Yes.
About an hour away from it. From Orlando.
Okay.
Yes, and you know what? Ubers and Lyfts from Orlando to Port Canaveral they ain't cheap. They're 3 digits long.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
Ugh.
And it's high 3 digits because it's surge.
Yes, it is.
Surge pricing.
Oh, wow.
We're looking at I found a thing called a GoPort, and it's like a fly snooze and cruise thing where you stay at one of their hotels, and then they will drive you to the terminal, and then when you get back, they'll drive you back to that hotel and or MCO, and this was all of it's included in the one price, and that's probably what we're going to go with, unless the shooter says, "Hey, we got this thing happening. We're staying in Melbourne. Party up with us," and we'll be like, "I'm Wayne, you're Garth," but right now, not happening so far. It's just been 6 hours. And I'm fine with whatever happens.
Yes.
Maria, you're not going on the cruise, but I'm sure
I'm
you're
not.
going to have a lot going on anyway, right? Like handling the entirety of the Facebook group.
So
on your own.
I am going to, while you guys are on the cruise, I will hold down the fort. I will make sure that
Drink
I
seltzers.
will drink all the seltzers, so that I feel like I'm on the cruise with everyone.
There's no seltzers
Yes,
on the
there
cruise.
are. There has to be.
I don't think,
pretty sure
I don't
there
think
are.
There are.
But
Not where I'm going to
past
be.
that, we're not going back to the world until I think November sometime. We've decided we want to take the boys back for a family vacation. So we're going to be there the weekend after Thanksgiving and a couple days into that next week. And we're gonna take our boys. They're super excited already because we told them, because you can't. I mean, yes, you can. No, when you have a kid like Kellen, you can't spring stuff on him.
Yeah, you do, and you duct tape them,
Yeah,
and you put
it
them in the
doesn't
trunk.
go that well. We've tried.
Like any
We've
other
tried.
parent.
So we have to give him a lot of time to prepare. It has to be part of his mindset. Hey, at this point in time, we're gonna go do this. So we told them that we are planning on going at the end of November, so that they have some time to kind of think about it. I don't know where we're staying. I don't know if we're going to be on property or off property, if we're going to do an Airbnb, maybe that sketchy hotel that I
would recommend that because that'll work great for your
sheets.
kids. If you're worried about losing one of your fucking kidneys, wait till you lose 2 kids. You go home and you're like, well, shit.
Oh, yeah. So
we'll file a police report.
We'll see. I don't know what we're gonna do. If we're gonna stay DVC and use our points, or we'll stay at Airbnb. I'd almost like to stay at an Airbnb that has like a pool and a hot tub, because then we wouldn't have to wrestle the boys out of the pool.
Yeah, they're easier to catch when they run away because they're wet. So it's easier for the guys sending them over.
So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, but that's our plan.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Wish I would have gone to you at this point. I would throw it to Adam for actually some really good remarks for closings, and he would say what Tim said. Because join the running group at 3 Sheets to the Finish Line on Facebook, because it's very active with new challenges and stuff coming in all the time. I went for my first walk in about 18 months today.
How'd that go?
Well, I made it back home. I mean, I know my neighborhood. Yeah, I felt great actually. Like when I finished it, like 2 hours later, I thought, I'm bored. And my brain said, well, you should go do something physical so you don't eat snacks. And I really considered going out to the garage and doing physical stuff. But then I remembered 95 degrees / garage. And I was like, nah, I'm just going to finish watching this TV series on Netflix. So, yeah, no. But signed my wife and I up for, and apparently my son tomorrow, when I go ahead and make that payment, for the 5K on the 4th of July here in Arkansas, in Greenwood, Arkansas.
Awesome.
So we got that going. And yeah, when he's finished, he can bring me water, because fucking he is going to be done in like probably, I don't know, like I don't know all the minutes, but it's going to be like probably a sub 30 kind of bullshit for him.
Good, that's awesome.
So anyway, that's our story, and we're sticking to it this week. Hollywood Studios, you know, just a lot like Epcot, they got a lot of stuff going on depending on what, quote, road you go down. It's not very symmetrical, so that makes it really difficult to get your way around and figure out what we're going to do next. But we've spent a lot of time on Epcot, on an Ultimate Epcot, and it's high time we turned ANI to Hollywood Studios and see what they got going on, because it seems like it's changing pretty frequently what they're going to have happening. So I'm enjoying this because for starters, I know what the fuck's going on and what we've done. In 2 weeks I may not, but right now I do know. So maybe eventually we'll get to your favorite area of Hollywood, whether it's Star Wars or Toy Story or just that back corner with the big ass guitar. So stay tuned, keep listening. We'll get there. It'll be fun. In the meantime, though, please join us at facebook.com/groups/3sheets. That gets you to our Facebook group where we're having all the conversations and all the Disney newses and stuff like that. No dick memes. And Maria will let you in probably on a weekend. I don't know, when she's had like a glass of Fez. Yep. In the meantime, we've got stuff going on, and we'll see you eventually. But right now, this is not goodbye. This is see you real soon. So good night.
Good night.
Good night.